Hello everyone, welcome to Winged Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'd like to welcome you all today to Fun Fold Friday. Before we get started, I'd like to thank all of our new subscribers and remind everybody to hit that like and subscribe and make sure you ring that notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. So I would really am trying to grow this channel, and I couldn't do it without all of you, so thank you very much. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to use this template, our Fun Fold Friday template that we made on Tuesday during Template Tuesday, and we're going to go ahead and make this card. So I'm going to turn this over here. Our directions here are on the back of this one. We are going to use the Modern Christmas Suite. So this is a new suite that is currently available. We are going to use some of the pattern paper as well as the stamp and die set. So we're going to use Merry Christmas, 'Tis the Season, and Be Jolly. So we're going to use all three of these stamps. And we're going to use this Christmas tree stamp here, and then the die to cut that out. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with our card base. So I've got a piece of black here that's 5.5 by 9.5, and I've scored it at 1/2, 2 5/8, 6 7/8, and 9. So we're going to go ahead and take our bone folder here and give all of these score lines a good burnish. So these ones on the outside here, the little 1/2-inch ones, I like to kind of burnish both ways. And then we'll do the next one. And then this one's going to come in. And then we've got our little half-inch one here that we're going to do this way, and then again this way. Because I really want these outside ones to, be a little bit flexible. So, our card is going to close like this. Now, what we're going to do on these little 1/2-inch strips here, I'm going to take my paper trimmer, and we are going to trim in this. So I like putting the little score line right into the cutting trough of the cutter, and then we're going to take it and we're going to cut down 1.5 inches. So I'm looking at the marking over here on the right hand side. So we're going to go to 1.5 inches. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to line it up again. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut down 1.5 inches. So to right there. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side here. So I'm going to line it up. And 1.5 inches. Turn this around. We're going to do this one more time. And we'll get this down to our 1.5 inches. And there we go. Okay. So put our paper trimmer to the side. I think we're done with that for now. And we're going to take these little end pieces here. And I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to just cut from the outside here at an angle right to where we stopped cutting on the side there. So we're just going to make a little tab, basically. And this is what our pop-up mechanism is going to be adhered to make it pop. Okay, so there's that. Now, let's go ahead and... Okay, looks pretty good. All right, so there's our base. Now, next piece is going to be our pop-out mechanism. Also in black cardstock. This piece is 3 by 10 and 5/8, and I've scored it at 2 1/8, 4 1/4, 6 3/8, and 8.5. So these score lines you can just fold and burnish. And again, both ways, because this is going to do some fancy moving here, and we kind of want these loosened up. So I'm just going to burnish each one of them in both directions. We'll go this way. We'll fold it back that way. Let's see, where are we at? Right here. One more. Okay, so there's our pop-up mechanism, and it ends up folding just like this. So we're just going to give it one final burnish here. Okay, next we need our message panel. So that's this back piece here that goes on the back. I've got a piece of white that is 5 by 4 1/4. And then for our pattern paper, we've got, let's see, I've got a little piece here that is 1/2 inch by 4. And this is going to go at the bottom of our message panel. So we can go ahead and get this put on. So just a little bit of liquid adhesive. Now I know in my template here, I put this little piece all the way at the bottom. You could do that. Or you could leave just a little bit of space at the bottom, which I kind of think I like better than putting it all the way at the bottom, but you can do whatever you like because it is your card, right? All right, let's line this up just, there we go. Okay, so there's our little decorative piece there at the bottom. So I'm going to put this to the side because we're going to do some stamping on that here in a minute. Next piece, so now we've got our pattern paper. So I've got this piece right here, which is 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to go inside of this card base. So let's use our seal on this. So we'll just put some adhesive on this. And I'm going to line this up. Let's see, making sure I've got it right side up. So if your paper is directional, make sure you put it going the right direction. So we're just going to center this in here, just like that. Okay, so there's that. Next piece, I've got some more pattern paper here that's 1 7/8. Now these are these down here. These are the 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and these are going to go on the outside here. And we've got some cardstock that's also 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and that's going to go on our inside. So we'll go ahead and do the inside first, and then we'll move to the outside. So we're going to put this one over here. I'm going to try to center this left to right and make sure that it's even across the top and the bottom with the pattern paper that I already put down in the middle, just so it looks uniform, if we can help it. Okay, another piece here we'll put on this side. Same thing, centered left to right, lined up with our top and bottom piece. Scoot that over just, let's scoot that over just a smidge here because I think it's too close to the score line. I don't want to impede our panel moving. So let's line this up again. All right, hang on, we'll get it here. Let's see. It's dark today outside, which makes working with black sometimes difficult. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's that. Now, so there's our inside. Now, we need to put our pattern paper on the outside. So we'll put some seal on this. And I'm going to turn this over here so I can kind of see what I'm doing. Again, just trying to center this on our panel here. And then we'll get this one. get this one. Now let's make sure, before I get too far ahead, I want to make sure my pattern was right. I got lucky. So again, directional paper, you want to make sure that it's all in, you know, going in the same direction. Because we wouldn't want some upside down trees. Even though sometimes I feel like we live in the world of upside down. Okay, now, next piece. Let's work on our pop-out piece here. So I've got a piece of white cardstock that is 1 7/8 by 2 3/4. It's going to go in the very middle section. We're going to stamp on that, so I'm going to lay that to the side. And then these are also 1 7/8 by 2 3/4, and they're going to go on our 2 outside on each edge here. So let's put some seal on these. Again, I want to make sure my trees are right side up. And we will center that up. And we'll get this one put on next. So I'm trying to make sure, again, they're lined up top to bottom with the first piece that I put on. And then centered left to right. So we'll go something like, I'm going to move this over just a little bit to the left. It's just a little too far to the right. So we're going to go something about right there. Okay, so we've got that piece. Now, moving on to our last 2 pieces. We'll go ahead and put our adhesive on both of them. Okay, this one, we're going to skip the middle one because that's going to be our white piece. And we'll put this one on here. And I'm just kind of eyeballing this to make sure it's even up here. And then this one will go right here. And that, okay, is our pop-up piece. Okay, so we are to the point now where we need to do some stamping. So I'm going to set this aside. And we are going to stamp a Christmas tree to put on the outside. So I pulled out this Christmas tree stamp, or this tree stamp. And we're going to stamp in black STÄZON in order to stay with our black and white color scheme. So I'll go ahead and ink this up. And oftentimes when you're using this STÄZON pad, it's just as easy to kind of use your ink pad, turn your stamp upside down, and do it like this, as opposed to trying to get the stamp into this, because it's such a small ink pad compared to the other ones. So this works better. Okay, put that aside. We're going to stamp our little Christmas tree. I'm just going to put this on here. I'm going to try not to rock the block. Still something with these red rubber stamps we have to be mindful of. Okay, so there's that. And then we can take this is the die set here. So you've got, this is a tree. This is the tree outline that goes to this one. You've got a couple of ornaments here, a star, and the ornament toppers. This is really a cool set. So I'm going to take this and cut this out just like that. And, you know, through the magic of TV, I've already got us one cut, so we can save a little bit of time. So let's move on. Next, we need to do the rest of our stamping. So now, the way this is going to go, we're going to put, let's see, on our outside here, we're going to put our tree. So that tree is going to go out here. And I wanted to use, let's see, what are we going to use here? For our little piece that goes on the inside of our pop-up mechanism, I wanted to use this stamp that says Be Jolly. I think it's this one right here. Yeah, so I haven't put the backing on this one yet, so real quick we'll walk through how you do that. The backing comes over here on this carrier sheet. You just peel this off, and I'm going to put it on a block, and I will kind of take half of this off. It's kind of split down the middle, so we'll put on half, take off half and stick that down, and then I'll peel off the other half of this like that, and then we can line this up with our stamp, and we'll just put this, let's see, you want to make sure you've just like that, and there we've got the label for our stamp. So I'm going to use this Be Jolly right here on this one, so we'll go ahead and ink this up. Make sure I've got it nice and inky without trying to get it all over the red rubber, because you know how that goes. Okay, so we're just going to put this right in the middle of our piece here. We're going to do Be Jolly. There we go. So that'll go on the inside of our pop-up mechanism. Now, on the inside piece, or our back piece, our message panel, I want to do Merry Christmas. So we're going to use this one. And again, this is a bigger one, so I'm going to turn it over and use my ink pad upside down here. We'll get this one inked up. Let's see, we can, sometimes these intricate ones, it's often doesn't look like you've got it inked up, but you really do. So I'm just trying to get in the middle, because I think in the middle of the stamp it doesn't look, maybe I've got it now. Let's see. See, then I end up getting too much on the rest of it. All right, we're going to go with that. If it doesn't look good, we can turn our piece of paper over, right? So let me line it up here. Hopefully we'll be okay, since I already glued the bottom part down. So I'm just going to give this a good firm press and just give it a second so the ink can transfer. There we go. Merry Christmas. All right, perfect. Okay, so that's going to go on our back panel. That's going to go on the inside. Now, I wanted to use this 'Tis the Season on the front as well. So let's grab another piece of scrap paper and see if I can get this. Yeah, it'll fit there. So let's get this one stamped on our piece of paper here. So I'm going to line this up kind of like that. We'll pick that up on our block. We'll use our ink pad, ink this up. Okay, let's see, let's get this on here. I'm going to just move this over a little bit because I haven't quite decided what we're going to cut this out with. Okay, so there's that. All right, I'm going to put the ink pad away before we have an ink disaster. Okay, lid on, we're good. Now, we need something to cut this with that will still allow us to put our little tree on here. So let's see, what can we do? Let me see if I can grab a die, because I hadn't really thought this one all the way through. Let's see what I've got handy right here. I've got all kinds of stamp sets and die sets sitting here in the queue to be used. So let's see what we can find. This is a... Yeah, I don't think that'll work. So let's see. Let me look again. I kind of know which one I want. I just have to put my hands on it. Maybe this one, maybe? Let's see what we got here. I don't think this is it. I thought maybe we could find a label die that we could use to cut that out. Let's see. See what we think about this. Is that the smaller one or the bigger one? I think that's the smaller one. I don't know, that might be too big, but maybe not. So let me center that up. And let me cut this out real quick here. Just give me a second and we will... I'm just going to center this up inside this label here. And I'll run this through our die cutting machine. Okay, so now we've got our... Let me peel my tape off here. Okay, so now we've got our label. So 'Tis the Season is going to go on the outside. So let's go ahead and put our Be Jolly piece on the middle here. And we'll put that in here. Again, trying to line it up best we can. So we'll do that. Now, we're going to take this piece goes on the back. So we'll get it down. And then just like that. Okay, now this piece right here, we have to attach to the inside here. So on this one, I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue on this just so that I have just a minute or two, maybe not that long, 10 to 15 seconds if I'm lucky, to make sure that it is centered. So you want to like lay this flat, and we want our Be Jolly panel to be in the center as best we can. So left to right and top to bottom, so that looks pretty good. So I'm going to just push that down. Okay, so just like that. Okay. Now, I'm going to turn that just a little. It seems like it moved on me. Okay. All right, now, next piece that we need to do. We need to adhere these to our little flaps. So I'm going to take some tear and tape because these mechanisms are going to get a lot of work. So the idea is to use a strong adhesive so that you make sure it stays together and doesn't come apart. So I'm just going to put this on here, give that a good burnish. We'll take the backing off of the piece of tear and tape. And then basically what you just do is just close this. Just lay it down flat, give it a good burnish, and then that becomes a working mechanism. And let's do the same thing to the other side. So I'll take a piece of tear and tape. We will stick it down there, give it a good burnish, peel our piece off here, and then we'll just close this side. Give them both a good rub there, and then it's going to go together just like that. Okay, it isn't a card that stays flat or stays shut on its own, but it'll stay flat once you get it inside in an envelope. And the good thing is when you give it, send it to somebody, they can actually display it by standing it up just like that. So it makes a nice mantelpiece. So let's go ahead and finish our front here. So we've got our little label and our little tree. Let's see how we want to do this. Let's go ahead and, we almost need to, all right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to attach the tree to this side of our label piece. So put some liquid glue on there, and I'm just going to lay this down, and we'll give that a nice push. So get that adhered. Let's see, we're going to straighten that up just a little bit. Okay, now next I think we want to then attach this to our front piece here, just so it's kind of at the edge of the right hand side here. So we can kind of do it like that. So let's see, where can we put glue? We need to keep our glue left of this, and then no more than the end of the label. So I'm not going to put any more glue on the tree. I'm just going to put it on the label, but to the left of where my finger is here, because we don't want to glue our card shut, because that would be sad. After we've done all this work to make a beautiful card, we don't want to glue it shut. So I'm just kind of, I'm going to center, well, not really center it, but I want my tree to not be hanging off the bottom. So I'm just going to make it so the tree is at the bottom of this panel. And then we've got that. And so we've got 'Tis the Season, Be Jolly, and Merry Christmas. Okay, last but not least, let's put some bling on the front. I've got some antique pearls here that I thought might be the best choice. So let's go ahead and do, okay, we've got 2 sheets here. I don't need both. Let me put that out of the way. Let's start with a big one. And I think I'm going to put the big one, let's see, let's go here because we've got some room on that side of our tag. And then I'll do a medium-sized one right there. And then we'll do a little one over here somewhere. Let's see. Let's do right there. Okay. And there is our cute Christmas card. So our fun fold card this week also happens to be a Christmas card, which is fine because, you know, Christmas is coming much sooner than we probably all want it to. So we need to get on with making our Christmas cards. So there's the one we did today. Now let me show you a couple of other examples that I put together. So I've got another Christmas card. Because, you know, I'm trying to get my Christmas cards done too. This was the season of green and gold paper from last Christmas. So I just did this with this one. I just loved this paper. And so then we've got that. And then I went and did some non-Christmas ones. So this one says, "You're amazing in every way." And on these here, just as an FYI, I put cardstock on the inside of this one and this one. But for this one, I kind of changed it up a bit. I put my cardstock on the outside and did some stamping on it. And then on the inside, I did pattern paper. So you could change it up any way you want. It's your card, so make it how you like it. So we've got that one. And our last one, I used the Turtley Sweet for this one. So we've got our little turtle out here on the front with the birthday cake. It says hooray. And on the back says happy birthday. So there are our cards, our fun fold for this Friday. So, like I said, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments which of these is your favorite. I kind of like the 2 Christmas ones, although the turtle's kind of cute too. So, I guess I like them all. So, let me know which one's your favorite. And I will see you all tomorrow for our next paper pumpkin alternative. Have a crafty evening. Bye.